a nice surprise.
No. What's nice and exciting and amazing is what your daughter managed to pull off.
Oh, I know. Can you believe it? After 4 years, she's finally back.
Yeah, how's Lulu doing?
And she's doing great. She's had a complete physical, and now that she's got a fully functioning liver, she's just coming along beautifully.
That is wonderful.
I know.
Wonderful.
And once the incision is completely healed, then...
So, are we just going to ignore the stellar craftsmanship of the hotel windows? No one's pointing fingers there. Typical. Sam would be thrilled, not. She'd be shaking her head at this circus, especially at Kristina. And those words to Molly? You were never her real mom. Ouch. That wasn't just a low blow, it was a full-on gut punch. Cruelty at its finest. Essentially telling Molly, you can move on because you were never Adela's mother. Yeah, that's the kind of jab you don't recover from. The damage is done. The battle lines are officially drawn, folks. Sides have been chosen, and the fallout is in full swing. Kristina has gone full brooding mode. Cue the icy stare and vacant expression. Yes, she's giving us the patented sunny look. Meanwhile, Alexis is firmly Team Molly after Kristina's harsh words, and Sunny? Oh, he's got Kristina's back, no matter how far her dark little heart spirals. Classic. We all saw this train wreck coming. Molly, Kristina, TJ, they're either going to rise above it or drown in the drama. Molly, at least, has decided to move forward. TJ is reaching out and finding support, and Kristina, she's retreated into her cold, Corinthos-infused bubble. The chill is real, the sisterly bond, completely shattered. Honestly, a tiny part of me wonders if they're setting Kristina up for a like-father, like-daughter storyline. Is this the beginning of a bipolar arc a la Sunny and Morgan? Kristina is undeniably broken right now. For the record, the baby is Molly's. Kristina was just supposed to carry it, not rewrite the whole script. And yet, here we are. She jeopardized the baby's safety and somehow thought it was a great idea to confide in Ava. Genius. Still, credit where it's due, Kristina finally said the quiet part out loud. Molly was never Adela's mother. Brutal, but true. And while Kristina's clearly not a fan of how things turned out, maybe it's time for her to stop brooding, let go, and move forward. Ava's time will come. But this mess, it's all Kristina. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Kristina seriously needs to grow up and let it go. Ava might be a lot of things, but pushing Kristina out of a window. Yeah, not on Ava's resume. Can we get a round of applause for Team Molly today? What Kristina said to her was downright vicious. Honestly, I was really hoping that after the verdict, Kristina would disappear for a bit. She's been on almost every episode for over a year now. I can't say I'm a fan of any of the Davis girls, but it feels like they've been hogging the spotlight for far too long. What happened to the rest of the cast? Hey, GH writers, maybe it's time to change things up. How about letting the Davis girls enjoy a nice long vacation? If we're talking justice, Kristina should try looking in a mirror and facing some hard truths. And TJ, don't even get me started. He's all about working through his issues, but then gets upset when Molly does the exact same thing. Can someone please explain that logic? As for Kristina, girl, Ava didn't push you out that window. Get that idea out of your head. And seriously, you had no business being in Ava's hotel suite in the first place. I am so done with this ridiculous storyline. Let's be real here. Kristina was only ever the biological mother. She backed out of her agreement with TJ and Molly, and anyone who thinks she's right is seriously missing the point. She knew exactly what she was getting into, and her mother warned everyone about the potential disaster. Kristina has always been a hot mess and can never be trusted. She was supposed to be the surrogate, nothing more. Morally speaking, she's in the wrong, and frankly, morally bankrupt. That's the truth. Let's move on already. Kristina might have spoken some truth, but let's get something straight. Molly was never the baby's mother. She had no claim to that child other than being the aunt. That's it. End of story. Molly will never understand the depth of Kristina's loss. After all, it wasn't Molly who carried the baby for almost 9 months. It wasn't Molly who made all the sacrifices, choosing healthy food, and making every decision with the baby's well-being in mind. It wasn't Molly's voice the baby grew familiar with, the one it recognized as its mother. That was all Kristina. And let's not even get into the emergency C-section Kristina had to go through. Every day, she'll be reminded of that baby, of everything that happened. Molly might not want to hear the harsh truth, but that's exactly what it is. Kristina's words to Molly were harsh, sure, but they were the truth. Molly likes to harp on Kristina being selfish, but she's hardly innocent in that department herself. The two of them are more alike than they're willing to admit. And then there's TJ, the icing on the cake of dysfunction. Honestly, all three of them need to stop acting like children and grow up. Kristina's mood swings? Yeah, they're starting to make me wonder if she's got some of Sunny and Morgan's bipolar tendencies. 1 minute, she's this, the next minute, she's that. It's exhausting, but the constant bickering and fighting between her, Molly, and TJ. It's becoming predictable and frankly annoying. I'll admit it, I screamed some pretty awful things at Kristina. First off, it's Irene, not Adela, and I knew I was going too low. But Molly does have the right to try to move on from all of this. She's allowed to process her way. TJ's starting to get on my nerves too. Let Molly deal with this how she wants. Ava didn't deserve that blame. I mean, yeah, it's kind of true. Molly just wants to forget and find some peace, while Kristina can't rest until she gets justice for the loss of her child and niece. And let's be honest, there's no way she's letting Ava off the hook. Justice for Morgan, Irene, or Adela, and Connie, it's overdue. Ava has never faced any real consequences for what she's done to this family. At least Molly had the sense to walk away from someone as self-absorbed as Kristina. Kristina seems completely incapable of remembering why she got pregnant in the first place, let alone showing any empathy for Molly's pain. I can't stand listening to Kristina go on and on about her daughter. Newsflash: the only reason she was pregnant in the first place was because she was a surrogate for TJ and Molly. If it weren't for TJ, there wouldn't even be a baby. Kristina was supposed to give the baby to them after the birth, but then she went rogue and decided she wanted the baby for herself. That's not just her decision to make. She broke the agreement and went against her word. The baby was as much TJ's and Molly's as it was hers. Then Kristina pulls some reckless stunt, thinking only of herself, and gets herself in a dangerous situation that ends up costing that poor baby's life. And she just keeps dodging responsibility. I can't stand how they're portraying her on the show. It's about time Kristina took some accountability, especially for the baby's death. Honestly, this entire storyline is driving me nuts. And don't even get me started on her personal life. Kristina screwed over her own sister, and then she goes to Ava's place, where a terrible accident happens. But of course, if Kristina hadn't shown up there in the first place, she wouldn't have dragged her sister into it. Great decision-making, Kristina. I'm beyond disappointed in Alexis for constantly siding with Kristina over Molly, who's lost everything because of this mess. Kristina's version of events is completely skewed. Ava didn't push her, she simply grabbed her arm. Kristina jerked away from her, tripped over a bag, and fell out the window into the pool. That's on Kristina. She picked a fight with Ava, knowing it was a terrible idea, and made everything worse for TJ and Molly, all while adding stress on their already fragile situation. What Kristina said to Molly is unforgivable. How she could open her mouth to Molly, knowing she's the one who caused the death of Molly's daughter, is beyond me. Kristina could never come back from that. She would be dead to me. TJ was right from the start. Kristina was never the right choice to be their surrogate. She's a walking disaster. Every single thing she touches turns into chaos, except for running that bar. Oh, I'm so over Kristina playing the victim. Seriously, it's her fault Irene's dead, not Ava's. Molly had every right to be angry with her. If I were Molly, there's no way I'd ever forgive Kristina after what she said, let alone want to see her again. And when Alexis tried to play devil's advocate and see Kristina's side, I'd tell her to take a permanent hike too. Team Molly, 100%. Kristina's basically being set up to follow in Sunny's footsteps, right? Her anger's the perfect fuel for it. And yeah, the surrogate lied and kept the baby. But by the time they figure it all out, TJ will probably be in another relationship. Oh, and I'm willing to bet that something might develop between Molly and Officer Heller. They've been spending a lot of time together lately. Kristina and Molly both have valid feelings, though. I get that Kristina was carrying the baby for her sister and had no idea what she was getting into. But come on, you'd have to be a seriously cold person not to feel some kind of love for a child you're carrying. Everyone grieves in their own way. And Sunny, he talks all this trash about Ava, but remember, he had her living in his apartment. If someone did half the stuff Ava did to my family, I wouldn't want anything to do with them. That episode, yeah, it really exposed Kristina for who she is. A bitter, spoiled, rotten person who can't handle it when things don't go her way. Her parents seriously dropped the ball on raising her. I absolutely cannot stand Kristina. Honestly, they should have killed her off instead of Sam. She's just an entitled, spoiled brat, and it's infuriating that Sunny and Alexis keep coddling her. They need to stop making excuses for her and force her to take responsibility for her actions instead of blaming everyone else. She knows Ava didn't push her, but she can't take the heat, so she's got to point the finger at someone else. And let's be real, none of this would have happened if she hadn't gone to Ava's in the first place. But of course, Kristina's always sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. I'm totally on Team Molly now, no question about it. Kristina's behavior is just appalling, especially what she said to Molly at the end of their conversation about the baby's name. Completely out of line. I was actually Team Kristina for a while during the whole surrogacy storyline, because I thought TJ and Molly were treating her pretty poorly. But now, I'm completely over her. She's entitled, selfish, and just downright awful. What she said to Molly yesterday was the last straw, and I'm really hoping Molly cuts ties with her for good. The worst part? Sunny and Alexis just keep enabling her, refusing to hold her accountable for anything. It's ridiculous. And get this, Kristina told Natalia, yes, that Maria from AMC, that she's still fantasizing about how, if she had kept baby Adela, she and Blaze would be the parents, and Natalia would be the grandmother. Seriously. And Natalia agreed. Like, how is that even a thing? I get that Kristina feels it's her baby, but let's be real, this is not Blaze's child, and certainly not Natalia's granddaughter. And then there's this new jock kid who has this ridiculous sense of entitlement. First, he doesn't even know what classes he's enrolled in. Then, when he's called out for skipping his first group assignment, he begs for another shot. And now that he has a second chance, he's ditching it again. If he's doing this for just one class, how many others is he blowing off to? Unbelievable. Kristina's comment to Molly, absolutely cruel. No argument there. It should never have left her mouth. But here's the thing. While they're both reeling from the loss of the baby, their grief isn't the same. Kristina carried the baby, felt the kicks, bonded with that little life growing inside her. She's physically and emotionally devastated and still dealing with PTSD and postpartum depression. For Kristina and TJ, this is a loss of their flesh and blood, and it's cutting them deep. Molly, she didn't have that connection. She didn't carry the baby, didn't experience the physical ache of losing it. She's hurting, of course, but she can compartmentalize in ways Kristina can't. In her mind, She's already accepted that having children isn't in the cards for her. She's rationalized that she's not meant to be a parent, so she's closed that chapter. If she had been the one to raise the baby, though, things would be different. She'd get it. She'd understand why Kristina and TJ can't just move on in a few months. No one, after all, would ever tell Kristina she should get over the loss of a child she carried for 8 months in just 4 months, especially when that loss was so tragic. If anyone tried, Kristina would be right to lash out. Molly's pain is real, but it's a different kind of pain, a different kind of loss. That doesn't make Kristina's words any less cruel or wrong. And I'll say it again, what Kristina said to Molly was mean and ugly, full stop. It should never have been said. On another note, the Davis family drama, seriously, it's getting old. Maybe it's time for a long vacation for all of them. Away from Port Charles, please? And as for the hate Trina's getting, it's honestly bizarre. All she did was tell that guy how important her education is to her, and gave him the option to finish the project on his own if he couldn't handle it. How is that deserving of all this irrational hate? Honestly, it's a bit telling. Why does it bother people so much to see this young woman speak up for herself and put her future first? Finally, the writers really messed up here. Did we all forget that Kristina crashed Alex's car into Claudia while driving without a license? And that Claudia was pregnant with Kristina's half-sibling. The baby died. That was a tragedy, right? But instead of treating it as an accident like they did with Ava's situation, they've glossed over it. Kristina didn't mean to cause that death, just like Ava didn't mean to harm her baby. They could have explored Kristina's guilt over that crash in a real way, had her go through some kind of emotional reckoning, but nope, they just sweep it under the rug. And if I recall correctly, back then, everyone helped cover it up. Some things really never change. As much as I can't stand Kristina, I have to admit, she actually said something true for once. She did carry the baby, so her pain is on a whole different level than Molly's. Sure, Kristina's spoiled, reckless, and insecure, but Rick was spot on when he told Alexa that she's constantly coddling Kristina and never considers Molly's feelings. It was an accident, and Kristina knows it, but of course, she wants Ava to take the fall instead of owning up to her own mistakes. And TJ was totally right from the start. Kristina should never have been their surrogate. Because of her stupidity, TJ lost his child and his partner. All thanks to Kristina and her carelessness. Honestly, I'm with Molly on this one. She's in the right, and Kristina is completely in the wrong. What she said at the end of that conversation about the baby and its name to Molly, totally out of line. As for the people who don't like Trina, they're just the ones who can't grasp the importance of the situation. Maybe if they were a little more educated on it, they'd understand. And let's not forget, Molly has been bullying Kristina for years, even when Kristina was pregnant with Molly and TJ's baby. She's always insulting her, looking down on her, and assuming the worst. But now, all of a sudden, Kristina's the bad guy because she told Molly the truth. Saying, "You can move on because you were never Adela's mother." Ouch. That's the truth, and it hits hard. But apparently, being honest makes Kristina the villain. I really don't get why TJ is so quick to trust Kristina's version of events. This girl literally tried to take your child from you, TJ. She wanted to keep that baby and barely let you visit. She's the last person who should be trusted to tell the truth about anything. I just hope Molly and TJ eventually wake up and see things clearly. Kristina needs to stop playing the victim and take responsibility for her role in baby Irene's death. I mean, I was Team Kristina, but after hearing the way she spoke to Molly, really? Telling her she's not the real mother? That was a low blow, even for Kristina. And as for Sunny and Alexis, do they really believe it was just an accident? They need to stop enabling her, because Kristina won't heal if they keep babying her. It's exactly why Molly is already moving forward, because Rick gave her the tough love she needed. Finally, Rick's thinking of his daughter for once. Meanwhile, everyone else is too busy tiptoeing around Kristina's feelings. Oh, and Kristina told Molly the truth. I'm actually stunned by Molly's reaction. I'm also backing TJ's decision, but I really hope this doesn't turn into some weird storyline about TJ suddenly liking men. By the way, I'm sure Alexis spilled all her drama to Ava and Rick. Wouldn't be shocked if Ava ends up with Rick next. It's about time Stella finally called out Portia for her insufferable judgmental attitude. Honestly, how is she even still working as a professional with that level of petty? It's outrageous. As for the whole Ava situation, well, it's hardly a secret at this point that she messed with Sunny's meds. Jason already did the decent thing and sent the pharmacist away before things got messy, so why not just bring the guy back and have him testify? That way, Sunny could actually put Ava behind bars for messing with his sanity, all because she was too busy being jealous of Carly, Blaze's mom, whatever her name is, and even her own family. Ava's arrogance is honestly mind-blowing. But hey, I guess it's fine that they let Ava go, right? Because apparently she didn't do it, according to the latest plot twist. Sure, it's time for Kristina, and everyone who's been coddling her, to face the cold hard truth. Ava didn't push her. Kristina just fell out that window. It was an accident. An accident that probably wouldn't have even happened if Kristina hadn't been trying to play the big bad hero in the first place. If she hadn't gone over there, trying to start drama, the baby would still be alive. But instead, Kristina could have been in court, going up against her sister, not Ava. Now that's a tragedy right there. Now, for the people out there who think Brooklyn and Dante are Gio's parents, let's get real. That doesn't even make sense. Dante was a police officer in Port Charles when Gio was conceived. I mean, remember when Dante first showed up? Carly was pregnant with Jocelyn. Michael had just dragged him out of a coma, and the timeline didn't exactly scream Gio's daddy material for Dante. It's possible Brooklyn could be his mom, but she wasn't even in town at the time. So nice try. Speaking of, I actually think the new Lulu is a decent replacement for the original. I'm getting serious Julie Berman vibes from her. I'd love to hear what others think about that comparison. Finally, if a jury of her peers is gonna let Ava off the hook, then Kristina's reckless behavior should be getting some attention. She's the one who lied about Ava pushing her and caused this whole mess. Let's be real, it's about time she faced the consequences of her actions. She needs to be held accountable for the waste of time, resources, and lives that she's caused. Kristina's trifling behavior needs to be stopped before it does any more damage. I just hope she gets what's coming to her. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.